Hi, I'm Wendy Steele. Today I'd like to talk to you about God's faithfulness, which I have experienced in my life so far, and how He has used me in unexpected ways. In 1993, 3 weeks before my husband left me, when my daughters were 4 and 2, I gained full-time ongoing employment with what is now known as Centrelink. I was working in a small office with a very supportive group of people. God knew that I would need these people in my life at this time, but I had no idea that my life was going to change so suddenly and dramatically. In 2010, after working for the call centre for 13 years, I applied for a transfer to the main office, but they took someone else instead. They told me I was on top of the transfer list, so I'd get the next available position, but as these transfers were rare, I didn't hold out any expectations at all. About 10 days later, my dad contracted a chest infection, which his cancer-affected body couldn't fight off, and he died in hospital a few days later. The people I had worked with for 13 years supported me and provided meals for my family while we grieved. God knew that I needed these people around me at this time, and so my transfer had been denied. And about a month after Dad died, my transfer came through and I went to the main office where I'm still working. These instances are clear evidence to me that God cares for us and He has a plan for us, even though we can't always see it. At the time, I didn't know what God's plan was. I didn't understand why things were happening that way. But in hindsight, I can clearly see His perfect timing. In Matthew 10:29-31 we read, "Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them falls to the ground without the Father's knowledge. And even the very hairs of your head are numbered. So don't be afraid, for you are worth more than many sparrows." 3 years ago, my youngest daughter bought her own home and moved out, leaving me an empty nester. My eldest daughter had moved to Melbourne a few years earlier, so this would be the first time I had lived on my own after being a single mum for 24 years. I wasn't sure how I'd manage being on my own after all this time, so I decided to be brave and say yes to opportunities and invitations instead of finding reasons to say no. As a result, I've had some wonderful experiences, some great trips away with friends, been to great shows and concerts, and I even went to my nephew's wedding in Bali. I also became part of a discipleship team at short notice, even though I was really tired at the time and I wasn't keen to add extra busyness into my life. But God gave me the energy and the enthusiasm that I needed for that weekend, and I met some great new people. I'm so glad I accepted that invitation because I got so much out of that weekend. I said yes to being part of a mentoring program called Side by Side, and I meet regularly with a wonderful young adult. And I gain as much from that experience as she does. God uses me and my experiences as a woman and a mother to speak into her life. I also said yes to becoming an adult migrant English program tutor, and I meet regularly with a great young Karen woman who I'm helping to improve her English so that she can get a good job. So God has given me an avenue to use my teacher training in a way that I never expected. Now, I'm not mentioning these things to make myself sound good. I give God all the credit for this. He provided the opportunities and the skills and abilities that I needed. And I don't do these things in my own strength, but I can do all things through God who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. I could never have predicted the opportunities that would be presented to me when I started being brave and saying yes. In Ephesians 3:20 we read, "Now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than we can ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us." God can use any willing person for His purposes. Moses was not an eloquent speaker, Exodus 4, but God used him to free the Israelites from Egyptian slavery. Noah was 600 years old when God called him to build the ark, Genesis 7:6. Abraham was 99 years old and Sarah his wife was 90 years old when an angel of the Lord told them they would have many descendants. Genesis 17. I'm just an ordinary person, but I'm willing for God to use me according to His plan. If you are open to God's leading, He will use you to further His kingdom in ways you can't foresee right now. You might never see the fruit of what you're doing, but you don't need to. All you need to know is that God has a plan and He wants you to be a part of it. May God bless you mightily.